Huniepop, the puzzle game that dared to ask the question, what if Bejeweled made you horny? While the idea of combining puzzle games and dating sims sounded ridiculous on paper, the game was wildly entertaining and quickly became heralded as one of the most popular puzzle games of the modern day. So when the time finally came to release a sequel, could it match the quality of the original and be just as celebrated and acclaimed as its predecessor?
Konnichiwa! O genki desu ka?
Huniepop 2 Double Date.
Twice the pride, double the fall.
To say the first game did well would be a massive understatement. On top of its already successful Kickstarter campaign, the game was very positively reviewed, with many finding its surprisingly in-depth gameplay as a strong selling point. I mean, obviously that wasn't the main selling point, but combine that with a strong online presence and you have a recipe for a very fun and surprisingly complex puzzle game that is still being talked about to this day. And then 6 years later they made this and nobody cared. Huniepop 2 is not talked about nearly as much as the first game, which kind of confuses me. With how massive the original was, you'd think that its direct sequel would be remembered as much more than a footnote in the franchise's legacy. What is it about this game that led to such disinterest in the general public when compared to Huniepop 1? Is it just that it took too long to come out? Is it something wrong with the game itself? Well, there's really only one way to find out. This is Huniepop 2. What the f is that? Honeycam Studio, a spin-off game released 1 year after the original that ditches the puzzle/dating sim gameplay in favor of being a business management game. It was developed in about 8 months and mostly served as a way for the franchise's creator, Ryan Coons, aka HoneyDev, to spread his wings a little and keep the process of game development fresh, as immediately jumping into a direct sequel for the first game would have caused burnout, which is totally understandable. I was initially going to skip over this game due to it being a spin-off, but some elements of the game do carry over into the sequel even though it's non-canon. So either way, I'll try to keep this brief. In Honeycam, you help Q with her baked goods business, wherein you assist in recruiting, upgrading, managing, and promoting her operations in order to maximize your fan counts to achieve a high score at the end of 21 days. If you've played any business simulators or tycoon games before, Honeycam doesn't really do anything that you haven't seen already. It's mostly just a sexy themed version of something like Cookie Clicker or Roller Coaster Tycoon, though the game notably has zero nudity when compared to the original Huniepop. Despite having no nudity, however, the game might honestly be more depraved than the first title, which is really saying something. At the start of the game, you only begin with one girl, but slowly work your way up to managing 8 at once. Your selection of girls at the start is limited to Tiffany, Nikki, and Kiana, all from the first game, but over time you can manage the rest of the girls from Huniepop on top of 10 brand new characters. Though given the nature of the game, you're not going to learn much about their personalities beyond a simple description and a handful of voice lines. Each girl has a unique style and talent level alongside 2 typings that help them to appeal to specific demographics, which you can utilize to increase your fan numbers in the long run. Each girl can be sent to one of 10 locations: the studios where the girls actually earn fans and money, the boutique and club where you can increase the girls' style and talent points in order to increase their profitability, the model agency where you can recruit a new girl to your cause when you have a slot for them, the liquor and corner stores where you can buy booze and cigs to help with the girls' stress levels if they have a preference for it, the day spa where you can completely reset the girls' stress levels, the shop where you can buy a variety of items of varying effects, shout out to the piggy bank, and the motel where your girls can earn a lot of money very quickly at the cost of potentially getting a... You also have 5 tabs at the bottom of the screen dedicated to checking the character's stats, equipping items, investing in upgrades, seeing what categories are most popular among your fans, and buying up ads in order to promote to your fan bases and expand your repertoire, as it were. Now that's a lot of factors to keep track of, but the game does have a good handful of tutorials that try to show you the ropes. Though a lot of the game's ins and outs and ways to optimize your business will best be learned by just experimenting in different playthroughs. I think the tutorials are fine, but I really hate how certain systems are locked out from you until you hit a certain quota. If you follow every tutorial to a T, you are basically dooming yourself to not get a high score due to how much time is being wasted not maximizing your business potential. It's pretty annoying, especially so when skipping every tutorial right from the start unlocks every system for you to get things moving. Thankfully though, you won't really have to worry about that after your first playthrough, though I do wish you could skip Q's few expository lines you get right at the start of each run. For my first run through, I decided to just play things safe, build up my business at my own pace, focus on profits and upgrades, and I got plunged into debt after 10 days, fantastic. I played a little more aggressively on my second run, earning a phallic bronze trophy that I'm too afraid to show, and on subsequent playthroughs I progressively and steadily improved in the hopes of earning that fabled diamond trophy. Each successful run will give you coins that you can use to customize the girls' appearances to your liking, similar to how you could in the original game. And you can even get some pieces of key art if you buy all of a girl's customization options. Like with the first game, there is an uber difficult hard mode that makes every girl cost 3 times the amount they normally do, take twice as long to finish tasks, and they stress out far more often than usual, but I'm good personally. I'm gonna be honest here, I don't really like this game, at least when compared to Huniepop. Mostly because it's just not a type of game I'm really into. Sure, when things are going great, the dopamine hits pretty hard, but the short time limit, countless factors to micromanage, and the very real risk of flat out failure makes the overall experience more stressful than fun for me. You see, I can play games that are similar to this, like Cookie Clicker, because at least with that, it's aware that it's mindless clicking and nothing else. But here, having to make sure everything is going perfectly while properly and efficiently overseeing your business only serves to spike my anxiety something fierce. It's also a game I can really only do one run a day for. I tried doing a run immediately after finishing another and genuinely got so exhausted that I had to quit halfway through. Now, a lot of this burnout was probably caused by me playing the game pretty late at night, because I will be damned if anyone ever walks in on me playing these games, but I can't deny that this game can be a little tiring at times. Overall though, I'd say Huniepop Studio is a good enough business simulator game. The game looks and sounds nice, though like the first game, the soundtrack isn't very memorable. And I think the chibi art style is a nice change that helps the game stand out. But as a whole, I'm just gonna jot this game down as not for me personally. Thankfully, a single run is only like an hour and a half long, and it does go on sale fairly often, so I would still mostly recommend it if this is a type of game that interests you. Anyway, enough stalling, let's get into the main course. Huniepop 2 opens with wall paintings depicting the prophesized end of the world. Cut to the modern day where our character from the first game is just getting done scoring, until Q breaks into our apartment and recruits us for a mission to stop the Nymphogen, 2 cosmic deities that awaken once every 10,000 years and will destroy the earth unless they can be satisfied. In order to awaken them, you and Q have to collect 24 fairy wings. How do you collect the fairy wings? How do you think? The two head to the island of Inadapuna, incredible name by the way, and after a brief tutorial, you're set on your way to go meet and date the 12 girls visiting the island and hopefully save the world in the process. It's certainly a different backdrop compared to the first title, but it doesn't really amount to much in the grand scheme of things. In the end, you're still chatting, dating, and playing the parsnips, so let's just get a move on. Huniepop 2's gameplay is pretty similar to the first games, but with a few subtle changes. Your goal is still to combine similar colored tokens, all of which returning from the last game, in order to fill up the affection meter to have a successful date. The core gameplay difference, however, comes with the namesake double date system. Polyamory is in, and now you have to manage and swap between 2 girls on a single date. Successful matches now cost stamina, represented via the gray tokens on the puzzle board, and letting a girl's stamina meter deplete will cause her to become exhausted and temporarily unavailable to be swapped to. If you let both girls' stamina meters deplete, then you instantly fail the date, so swapping constantly and appealing to each girl's preferences is essential to getting far in the game. Like with the first game, you can talk to the girls before each date to get to know them better, give them gifts, or uncover a new mechanic in the game: baggage. Each girl has 3 random passives that can affect your puzzle gameplay, such as depleting the affection meter a certain percent every time you swap girls, or lessening the effect certain tokens would normally have. I'm not a big fan of the baggage system as a whole. I like the idea of each girl having a different passive you need to take note of during gameplay, but the problem is that most of them are super annoying to deal with and make the game needlessly difficult, even when playing on normal mode where you only have to deal with one of the girls' baggages at a time. There are ways to mitigate their effects, and unlocking more baggage does give you more date gift slots because you only start with 1 per girl for some reason. But as a whole, I think the baggage system just kind of overcomplicates how the game works. Which is also how I feel about the item and shop systems. Good lord, what happened here? So, in the first game, successfully completing a date or asking/answering a question the girls would like would reward you with money, which you use to buy food and drinks, upgrades, or gifts to utilize during dates. All these systems return, however the stamina meter has replaced the food and drink meters of the original game. But talking to the girls still depletes the stamina meter which you need during the actual dates, so I have to ask, what's the point in talking to these girls if it's just going to give me a disadvantage during the core gameplay? Yes, talking to these women does give you more currency, moves, and stat points for upgrades, but overall I feel very unincentivized to interact with the girls because it just makes the actual dates more difficult in the long run. You either talk to the girls to get to know them better at the cost of you having less move potential at the start of a date, Or you ditch the character interaction in order to get right into the puzzles, which sort of diminishes the dating sim aspects of the game. It feels like a net negative either way, and I just kind of wish they kept the food and drink meters instead. While we're on the topic of mechanics I wish they didn't change, the money system also sucks ass because rather than making sense and just being one currency, it's now been split into 4 currencies relating to the 4 main colored tokens. Like with the baggage system, the new money system, referred to as seeds, just overcomplicates a mechanic that was perfectly functional already and just makes it more annoying to buy necessary items for dates. The seed system is also annoying for upgrades considering you can't pick and choose what to upgrade whenever you want. Now you instead have to buy an item that may or may not be in the shop to give to a girl who may or may not want it in order to increase a single stat per gift. Why is this game like this? Okay, well the core gameplay hasn't really been doing much for me, but maybe the characters can change that. There are 12 dateable girls, with each girl having 4 pairs each, resulting in 24 doubles you'll have to date in order to beat the game. Outside of Q, who just serves as a tutorial giver and customization / image gallery provider, the only 2 girls returning from the first game are Lola and Jessie. Not the 2 I would have personally gone with, but I'm glad there's some familiar faces at least. As for the new characters, we have Lillian the Goth, Zoe the Psychic, Leilani the Timid, Candace the Stripper, Nora the Latina, Brooke the Resort Owner, Ashley the Tomboy, Abia the Pervert, Polly the Influencer, and Sarah the Worst. Their description, not mine. All of the girls, with exception to Ashley, Abia, and Polly, originate from Huniepop, though this game functions as a much better introduction to these characters in general. Is what I would say if these characters weren't f***ing terrible. There are very few characters in this game that I feel match the quality of the ones from the original, and I think a lot of my negative thoughts on them is due to how the game is structured and how the game is written. In the first game you would do 5 dates, with the final one being where you woohoo your waifu of choice. Here you only do 2 dates per pairing, but still do a sex minigame anyway because who the f*** cares about foreplay. In the first game, hooking up with each girl was a reward for doing well in the puzzle gameplay, but here, since you're doing the deed constantly, the returns become greatly diminished each time. Not helping things is the god-awful writing where a ton of the characters are overly flirtatious and lacking a lot of characterization when compared to the girls from the first game. Like who fucks on a golf course? There's the occasional bit of character depth, usually when a new baggage is introduced, but it's very sporadic. 90% of the time the girls are going to be overly flirtatious in one note, or in the case of Sarah, absolutely irritating in every way imaginable. Jesus Christ, what a detestable character. I get that's the point and her voice actress is doing a very great job of coming across as annoying, but you know you could have just made a good character, right? The character writing as a whole is just a major downgrade, featuring such one-liners as,
"If I'd have known you were coming, I wouldn't have had to explain my vibrator to security."
You're tan too, just like me! OMG! Do you also like Yaru fashion?
Oh, right, of course. My name is Labia. Abia. Sorry.
I only shower once or twice a week. That's enough for me.
This is the kind of chick that's so hot, you almost wouldn't mind getting the herp from her, you know?
No fair! I want to have sex with a Japanese girl! Where'd you find her?
They don't even have a star brand here? Where am I supposed to get a chai tea?
So, confession time. I did not finish this game. Collecting the 24 fairy wings isn't super difficult, but it is time consuming. Huniepop 2 is about twice as long as the first game, and you definitely feel the grind at points. The Nymphogen can destroy the world for all I care. I'm sorry for being so negative, but this game just really doesn't do anything for me. And I don't even think it's that I'm being a prude or that I've emotionally matured since I played the original. Or, you know, at least I'd like to think I have. I played a decent amount of Huniepop 1 before diving into Huniecam and Huniepop 2, and it just still has a certain charm to it that its successors lacked. I think I might know what's missing. In my opinion, what Huniepop 2 lacks when compared to the original is sincerity. And Aiko. Huniepop was a sexy themed puzzle game / dating sim hybrid, and it embraced that with great writing and characters with simple yet rewarding gameplay. Huniepop 2 in contrast leans too much into its NSFW nature that it loses a lot of the charm of the original in the process, on top of having obnoxious writing, characters, and diminishing returns in terms of personal engagement. At the very least, the music and presentation is still good, and I actually quite like the UI changes, except for the deceptive visuals for whatever tokens a girl dislikes. But I don't think Huniepop 2 offers anything that the original game didn't already, so I think you should just play that instead. Well, that was disappointing. I honestly wonder if Huniepop would have been better off as a one-and-done standalone release instead of becoming a franchise, but what's done is done, and I can only hope that the dev team can take some of these criticisms in mind for future games in the series. Or hey, they could always try their hand at a brand new title, but that's not gonna happen. Well, only one thing to do now. Time to listen to the Screams of the Damned on repeat for punishment for my opinions.
I only shower once a year.